If you have followed these 7 steps, what we'll do, we'll now try to solve one question in which we'll implement these 7 steps to design a one-way slab. So here's the question. So we have a hall which has a clear dimension of 3 meter into 9 meter with wall thickness 230 mm. So it is like this. So this is the slab. Okay. Now this slab is actually being supported on walls on all the 4 sides. Like this. Okay. So this is actually wall. So it is talking about what? Clear dimension. By clear dimension, I mean to say that from the inner face of the wall from here till here, this dimension is actually 9 meter, and from here to this dimension is actually 3 meter. Okay. So this is the data which has been given, and also it's given that this wall thickness is 230 mm. The live load which is going to act on the slab is given to you. It is 3 kilonewton per meter square, and also finishing load is also given. Normally in slab, let us say that if you are laying some kind of flooring made up of marble or say granite, it's going to apply some kind of load in your slab. So those loads are what? Those loads are actually your finishing load. So the finishing load has been, it's asking you to assume as 1 kilonewton per meter square. You are supposed to use M20 grade concrete and Fe415 steel. So based on this data, you have to design the slab. So here when I say design the slab, what you have to give me? You have to give me what should be the thickness of the slab, and second, what should be your main reinforcement diameter and at what spacing. Okay, main reinforcement diameter at what spacing, and also secondary reinforcement at what spacing, because normally in this slab what you are going to do, are going to provide the main reinforcement and the secondary reinforcement which you are going to place in both the direction. So I would like to know at what spacing these reinforcement has to be placed. So first step is what I would like to compute the effective span on both the direction. So Ly. Okay, so let us compute Ly first. Effective span about about the longer span Ly. So Ly will be what? So here you see this is your clear span 9 meter. And what is Ly effective span? Let me come to the code. Clause number 22.2. So what kind of slab I am having? The slab is being supported on the 4 wall. So basically it's going to be a simply supported slab. So here you see simply supported, I'll not read beam slab. The effective span of the member is actually, if you read it, it's becoming clear span plus the effective depth of the slab or center to center of support, whichever is less. So following this, what I can write Ly as minimum of clear span plus d comma center to center distance. Now right now I do not know the thickness of the slab. That is the thing which you have to design. So what I will do, I'll assume Ly right now at present, which I'll be confirming later as center to center distance. So what will be your Ly? It will be actually center to center distance means from here till here. So it will be actually 9.23 meter. So right now I've ignored this D because I do not know D. That is what I have to decide. So my effective span on the longer effective span is going to be 9.23 meters. Similarly, effective span in X is going to be how much? It will be 3.23 meter. Now take this ratio, because since this slab is being supported on all the 4 sides, take this ratio. So when I take this ratio, Ly by Lx, what I find, this ratio is greater than 2. Okay, since this is greater than 2, what I will do, the slab will be designed as one-way slab. So it's very important, like whatever problem you get, first you decide whether the slab will be designed as a one-way slab or a two-way slab. If it is a one-way slab, it means main reinforcement will be provided only about the only in one of the direction in which slab is going to bend. And we know about shorter span. So I'll be providing my main reinforcement parallel to the shorter span, and the secondary reinforcement will be placed along the longer span. So this check is very much important, like to decide whether the slab is going to be designed as a one-way slab or two-way slab, and this will help you to assess how you're going to provide your reinforcement. So once this is done, so what was my first step? If you remember, my first step was to have the trial thickness. If you recollect, my first step or the procedure for design of one-way slab, I said you assume the trial thickness. What will be the trial thickness? D. So again, if I look into, it is based upon this logic. Based on this logic, I try to reduce this into this form. For simply supported slab, you take L by D equal to 25. And how it has actually come, you assume the modification factor KT as 1.25. Okay, so I'll be taking directly for simply supported slab L by D equal to 25. Okay, so the trial thickness D equal to, I'll write Lx divided by 25. So here you see why have, yes.
सर ये जो ट्रायल थिकनेस जो सिंपली सपोर्टेड और कैंटिलीवर और वो कंटिन्यूअस वाला जो केस होता है या फिक्स्ड है, ये सर डिपेंड करता है कि सर वो स्लैब और वॉल किस तरीके से कास्ट किया गया है।
अगर दोनों साथ में कास्ट किया गया है,
दोनों अगर साथ में कास्ट किया गया है तो सर वो फिक्स्ड हो जाएगा या सिंपली सपोर्टेड होगा?
देखो एक चीज देखोगे, वॉल में कैसे फिक्स्ड हो पाएगा? वॉल में तो फिक्स नहीं हो पाएगा ना। लेकिन हाँ, एक चीज हो सकता है, स्लैब पूरा कास्टेड है, उसके ऊपर भी तुमने वॉल को कास्ट कर दिया है, स्लैब के ऊपर भी वॉल को अगर कास्टिंग की हो तो वो पार्शियल फिक्सिटी करेगा। इस तरह से देखो, जैसे कि अगर मैं इस सेक्शन को देखूं, इस तरह से अगर मैं सेक्शन को कट करूं, ओके, सो व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू सी, योर सेक्शन विल लुक लाइक दिस। सो दिस इज द वॉल, दिस इज द slab. Okay, now suppose if you are constructing one more wall over here, अब ये क्या करेगा, ये वॉल भी तो इसको क्या करेगा, दबाने की कोशिश करेगा स्लैब को। तो वी से दैट इज अ पार्शियल फिक्स्ड। ओके, ये क्या हो जाता है, पार्शियल फिक्स्ड हो जाता है। अब नॉर्मली अभी मैं पार्शियल फिक्सिटी नहीं लूंगा। अगर मैं पार्शियल फिक्सिटी लूंगा तो मुझे बहुत ही रिग्रेस स्ट्रक्चरल एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा। अगर मैं सिंपली सपोर्टेड की तरह डिजाइन करूं तो उससे क्या होगा, मूवमेंट मुझे ज्यादा आ जाएगा। अगर यहाँ पर देखो, इसको मैं टेक केयर कब करूंगा, जब मैं इसका डिटेलिंग करूंगा। यहाँ पार्शियल फिक्सिटी अगर है, इसका मतलब क्या होगा, यहाँ पर टॉप में तुम्हारा टेंशन आएगा, ठीक है कि नहीं। यहाँ पर जब बेंड होगी स्लैब, तो स्लैब इस तरह से बेंड होगी, इस तरह से। तो यहाँ तुमने को यहाँ पर टेंशन आ रहा है, तो तुम क्या करोगे, तुम्हें कुछ रिइंफोर्सिंग बार ऊपर भी देना होगा। तो आई बी टेकिंग केयर ऑफ दैट व्हेन आई डू दी डिटेलिंग टू टेक केयर ऑफ दिस पार्शियल फिक्सिटी। बट यस, अगर मोनोलिथिक कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रहा है, अभी जैसे इसी स्लैब का प्रॉब्लम में, ये हॉल में मैं बोलता है कि यहाँ पर एक कॉलम है, यहाँ पर एक कॉलम है, यहाँ पर एक कॉलम है, यहाँ एक कॉलम है। अब इस स्लैब को कैसे सपोर्ट करते हैं, यहाँ पर बीम देते हैं, ये तुम्हारा बीम होता है, ये भी तुम्हारा बीम होता है, ये भी बीम होता है, ये भी बीम होता है। अब स्लैब इज बीइंग सपोर्टेड ऑन व्हाट, बीम। जब बीम के साथ अगर सपोर्ट हो रहा है, देन यू हैव टू से दैट इट्स गोइंग टू बी अ फिक्स सपोर्ट। तो कंटिन्यूअस स्लैब की तरह तुम बोल सकते हो। तो यहाँ पर तुम क्या करोगे, 26 का रेशियो दोगे। इज दिस क्लियर?
इसके जो ये हम लोग का क्वेश्चन है, इसमें सर पहले वॉल बना है, उसके बाद स्लैब का कास्टिंग किया गया वॉल।
हाँ, नहीं नॉर्मल वही होगा ही, क्योंकि वॉल में वो फिक्सिटी कैसे करोगे, रिइंफोर्सिंग को कैसे एम्बेड करोगे वॉल में।
ओके सर,
ओके, बट इफ इट्स अ बीम, बीम में क्या होता है, मोनोलिथिक कंस्ट्रक्शन होना ही है। जब मोनोलिथिक कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रहा है, क्योंकि बीम और ये स्लैब दोनों को एक साथ में कास्टिंग हो रहा है, such that sufficient reinforcement from your slab is also getting inside your beam. अब वॉल होगा तो उसका reinforcement कैसे नहीं जा पाएगा।
सर ऐसा सोच सकते हैं कि वॉल के ऊपर बस एक स्लैब रखा हुआ है, वॉल के ऊपर एक स्लैब रखा हुआ है।
हाँ, बस यही होगा, कंस्ट्रक्शन इसी तरह से हो पाएगा। और पहले के टाइम में वही होता था, जो लोड बेस्ड स्ट्रक्चर होते थे उसमें हमारे पास कॉलम्स बीम्स का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं था। अगर तुम पुरानी बिल्डिंग्स देखोगे तो वॉल में ही सपोर्टेड रहता था तुम्हारा स्लैब, ठीक है कि नहीं। बट नाउअडेज पीपल हैव गॉन विद दिस frame structure in which you have beam and column, and those beams are actually supporting these slabs. Okay, and whatever wall is present, it is basically serving as a curtain. वो लोड नहीं ले रहा है, सारा लोड क्या ले रहा है, फ्रॉम स्लैब से बीम में जा रहा है, बीम से कॉलम में जा रहा है। जो वॉल तुम देखते हो जो बनाते हैं, वो जस्ट एज अ कर्टन काम कर रहा है, ठीक है कि नहीं। So I hope this is clear, this doubt is clear to you.
Yes sir.
Okay, so we'll go with this trial thickness. So the trial thickness which you are going with is I'm saying you take L by 25, and let us take this itself. This is going to be D. Let us be consistent. So you remember this L by D will be equal to 25, and this is actually coming from what? 20 into 1.25. So from here, what should be your L? It should be about X, because the bending is going to take place about shorter span. So obviously I'll be taking 3 meter. You should not take 9 meter, because it's a one-way slab. So in one-way slab, the bending will be along shorter span. So that's why here, when I'm doing trial thickness, I'm writing Lx by D equal to 25. So from here, you are going to get this D if you do this computation. Okay, if you do this computation, you will get D nearly 120 mm. So it is nearly, I'm saying, if you do 3.23, that is 3,230 divided by 25, you will get a D nearly equal to 120 mm. Now, you have to assume the exposure condition, because nothing has been given. Now, if it's a hall, let me show you this exposure condition. Here you see nominal cover to meet durability requirement. If you have a mild exposure, then you assume the cover as how much? Concrete cover as 20 mm. So if you have a hall, so you are going to have a mild exposure condition. You are not going to have moderate, severe, very severe, or extreme. So I can assume this concrete cover of what? 20 mm. Okay. And one more thing you please see here, this is very important. Under notes, you please read notes. For main reinforcement, up to 12 mm diameter bar. For mild exposure, the nominal cover may be reduced by 5 mm. You please see this slab. It is coming 120 mm. And what is the maximum diameter which you can use? Maximum diameter, say it will be what? The thickness of the slab divided by 8. What you will find, the maximum diameter which you are going to use, it is going to be less than 12 mm. Okay, so if it is less than 12 mm, what will be my nominal concrete cover? 20 minus 5 mm. So it will be 15 mm. So please understand this logic, why I'm going to write the cover as 15 mm. 20 minus 5, and I know my main reinforcement will be less than 12 mm in case of the slab which I'm going to design. Normally in slab, you go with 8 mm, 10 mm, or 12 mm. Okay, so that's why what I will do, I'll reduce my this nominal cover requirement. Rather than 20, I'll be taking as 15 mm. So let me write down this, assuming clear cover of 20 mm. Okay, so I'm assuming a clear cover of how much? 20 mm. Now, in this assuming clear cover of 20 mm with diameter of bar as 10 mm. So diameter of main reinforcement bar, which I'll be preferring, it is 10 mm. So what will be your effective cover? So what will be your effective cover? So effective cover will be 20 plus diameter of bar divided by 2, which becomes 25 mm. Okay, so effective cover is basically like, if you see this section, if this is the diameter of the bar, so this is the clear cover. So this clear cover is 20 mm. So you have assumed 20 mm, and you are saying this diameter which you are providing, it will be 10 mm. So from center to center, this distance is going to be actually 5 mm. So this effective cover is 25. Okay. So if your effective cover is 25 mm, what will be the overall thickness of the slab? Overall thickness of the slab will be 120 plus 25. So because this is the D plus 25 will give you the overall thickness of the slab. So it comes as 145 mm. Okay, so since I'm having the trial, I have written trial thickness. What I will do, I will go, rather than going with 145 mm, I'll write, let us provide 150 mm thick slab. So I have increased by 5 mm. I'm providing a little bit more, so that when I do later check for shear and for deflection, if I am having a little bit more thickness, it is going to satisfy the criteria. So this is your final thickness of the slab which you are providing. So I'm going to write D equal to,
तो LX क्यों लिए?
क्या चीज? देखो लेस भी लेते तो चलता, ठीक है कि नहीं? There is no harm.
LX पूछ रहे हैं LX LX
ये
या D
LX
क्यों
क्यों
लिए वहाँ?
LX क्यों लिए हैं? क्योंकि देखो
Yes, sir.
बेंडिंग जो हो रहा है यहाँ, this is a one way slab. Now in one way slab where bending will be dominant, it will be dominant about shorter span. क्योंकि जब बेंडिंग होगा, बेंडिंग कहाँ पर डोमिनेट होगा? इस शॉर्टर स्पैन में डोमिनेट होगा। तो जब स्पैन में डोमिनेट हो रहा है तो ये शॉर्टर स्पैन बेंड हो रहा है। तो शॉर्टर स्पैन अगर बेंड हो रहा है तो डिफ्लेक्शन इसमें हो रहा है ना, तो डिफ्लेक्शन क्राइटेरिया अगर हम लेंगे तो शॉर्टर स्पैन को लेंगे, LX को लेंगे। इज दिस क्लियर?
तो LX यहाँ सर 3 LX है।
हाँ हाँ, LX तुम्हारा 3 हो जाएगा। ठीक
Okay,
है ना, LX तुम्हारा क्या हो
sir.
जाएगा? 3। You can take 3.23. I said this 120 mm which you are getting. It is just approximate value, and I know I am not going to provide 120 mm. See here, I am providing actually D equal to 150 mm. If I provide D equal to 150 mm, your revised effective depth D becomes how much? 150 minus effective cover is 25 mm. So 150 minus 25. So actual D which you are having is 150 mm and effective depth is 125 mm. So here actually what I did, I had done some kind of computation in order to arrive into my providing overall depth. Okay, so it is giving me just a guidance, this step whichever I have written here, LX by D equal to 25, because here this value is also based on assumption of modification factor. Okay, which I'm going to confirm later, because ultimately I need to satisfy whatever depth I provide. So please see, whatever thickness of this slab I provide, it should satisfy the requirement of shear check and deflection check. If that check is not getting satisfied, I have to revise the section. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we can proceed. So you see here in trial thickness, what I did, I am saying that I'm going to provide 150 mm thick slab, and if you have effective cover of 25 mm, your D is equal to 125 mm. And later, as you have some experience, you can always skip this step, whatever step I have written here. You can say, okay, I'll be providing 140 mm thick slab, and with effective cover of 25 mm, your D is this much, 115 mm, and you can proceed with your calculation. And later, for that thickness of the slab which you provide, you have to satisfy those check which I have talked about, shear check and deflection check. So you will not be requiring these steps. You can directly say that let us provide thickness of slab so and so, assume some effective cover, and determine this effective depth D. Okay, but whatever here I have written, it is just a guidance. Okay, this is just a guideline to start with your calculation, because as a fresher you will not be knowing what thickness with which I should start my slab design. But with experience, as soon as you solve number of problems, you'll be having that kind of experience. Rather than going with this step, you can always say, okay, we'll be providing this much thickness of the slab. So okay, my step 1 is complete. So I'll be computing step number 2. So in step number 2, you have to compute design factored moment. Okay, you have to compute what? Design factored moment. So now in order to compute MU, what we will be doing, we'll be considering 1 meter straight. Okay, so I'll write here, considering 1 meter strip. If I consider 1 meter strip, let me compute the dead load. So I'm writing in short, dead load. Okay, and let me mark this as loads. So considering 1 meter strip, I'm computing the loads. So the first load is dead load. So what will be the dead load which is going to be there in 1 meter strip? So density of concrete is 25 into thickness of the slab 0.15 into, I'm considering 1 meter strip. Okay, I'm considering 1 meter strip. So if you do this, you are going to get the load in terms of kilonewton per meter. So this comes out as 3.75 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so this density is being multiplied with 25 into 0.15, and since you're considering 1 meter strip, so I multiplied with 1. So this load turns out as UDL load, uniformly distributed load along LX span. Similarly, you will be having this finishing load. I'm writing FL. FL is your finishing load, and in the data, the finishing load is given as 1 kilonewton per meter square. So 1 kilonewton per meter square, since I'm considering 1 meter strip, I'll multiply with 1. I'll get 1 kilonewton per meter. So please understand, whatever 1 kilonewton per meter square is there. So in 1 meter strip, if I multiply with 1, the load will be in terms of kilonewton per meter. Similarly, you have live load LL. So the live load which has been given is 3 kilonewton per meter square. So this 3 into 1 because of 1 meter strip. So this load is actually 3 kilonewton per meter. Okay. So what is the total load? The total load which will be acting on 1 meter strip. So the total load which will be there in 1 meter strip, if you add this, it will be 6.75 kilonewton per meter. Okay. So what will be the ultimate load which is going to act? It will be 1.5 is the load factor into this total load, which is 6.75. So this turns out as how much it will be? Okay, this is not 6.75. It will be 347.75. Sorry. Okay, 336 plus what? 7.75. So this is the ultimate load. WU is your 1.5 into 7.75. So how much it will be? 1.5 into 7.75. So this comes out as 11.625. 11.625 kilonewton per meter. So this is the ultimate load which will be acting in 1 meter strip about LX span. Okay, about LX span, it's going to come. Next, what we will be doing, we'll be computing the effective span, because whatever effective span we had computed here, we had ignored this D because we were not knowing this D value. But now what I can do, I can compute this effective span about X span, because bending is going to take place about shorter span. So LX, effective span LX, will be how much? It will be minimum of tear span 3 plus effective depth D. Effective depth D we have taken as 125 mm. It will be 0.125 mm. And next is center to center distance. So we know center to center distance is 3.23. So we get the effective span as 3.125 meter. So this is your LX. Okay, this is your effective span. Next, what we'll do, since it's a simply supported slab, I can compute the ultimate moment mu. So the ultimate moment mu will be what? WU into LX square divided by A. Again, why I'm using LX? Because bending is dominant about shorter span. So WU into LX square divided by A. So once you do this computation, you substitute 11.625 into 3.125 square divided by A. So you get mu as 14.2 kilonewton meter. Next, shear force you have to compute, because ultimately we need to have that check for shear stress, and that is actually going to confirm whether the trial depth which you have selected is going to be okay or not. So VU, that is the shear force, since again it's a simply supported slab and 1 meter strip, it will be WLX divided by 2. And if I substitute the values of WLX and 2, this you are going to get as 18.164 kilonewton. Next, see, I have computed mu. Okay, I've already computed mu. So if you remember the next step, what you have to do? You have to compute mu lim. What will be mu lim? So we are using which grade of steel? It is Fe415 steel. So for Fe415 steel, by now you know like what is the standard formula. It is going to be 0.138 FCK BD square. So you substitute the values 0.138, grade of concrete is 20, B, since I'm taking 1 meter strip, it will be 1000, D is actually 125 mm square, and if you compute this, you get mu lim equal to 43.1 kilonewton meter. Now you can compare mu and mu lim. So you can write, since mu is less than mu lim, singly reinforced section will be designed. Singly reinforced section can be design. Okay, so I hope till here it is clear. So I'm following the step which I had written. So after this third step, what we have to do? We have to compute AST. Fourth step, you have to compute area of steel based upon mu which you have computed. So let us compute that. So fourth steel, yeah, reinforcement calculation. Now since it's a singly reinforced section, if you remember, if you have a singly reinforced section, you can apply this formula. And if you remember the formula, it is very good to compute the steel. Here you see, like for rectangular section without compression reinforcement, singly reinforced section, you can apply this formula directly. This mu. Okay, and if you're remembering the formulas, it is good. And if you understand the basic, how exactly it has come, then you would be able to write it directly. And this we have already done for B. So what I can do, you can substitute the formula here, and same thing I'll do. I'll be using directly mu equal to 0.87 Fy AST into D. This will be multiplied by 1 minus AST BD Fy FCK. Okay, so we'll be substituting the value. So what is the mu? So what is the factored moment for which you have to design? 14.2 kilonewton meter. So let me write mu as 14.2 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton millimeter, because all the units here to be in Newton millimeter. So substitute all the values, 0.87 into 415 into AST into 125, 1 minus AST B, it will be 1000 again, because I'm considering 1 meter strip. D is 125, Fy is 415, FCK is 20. So if you solve this, you are going to get a quadratic equation. Okay, you are going to get a quadratic equation. So you please try it out. I'm going to write down the value of AST directly, though I can give you the quadratic equation. So rather than giving you the quadratic equation, you please try it out. So you'll get AST as 333 millimeter square. Okay, and please make sure whatever steel you provide, it should be what? It should be greater than equal to minimum steel. So whatever main reinforcement you will be providing, it should be greater than equal to minimum steel which you have to provide. So this also you have to make sure. So please see what will be your minimum steel. Since you are using HYSD bar, it is actually 0.12 percentage of the cross section area. B is 1000, and D which you have provided is 150 mm. So minimum steel is actually how much? It will be 1.2 into 150. It will be 180 millimeter square. Okay, so you can see your AST is greater than equal to AST minimum, so which is fine. So you're going to provide AST as 333 millimeter square. So next step I talked about, you compute spacing. As I said, you'll be using 10 mm dia bar, because when I was computing effective cover, you remember here, diameter of bar which I said I will be using 10 mm, and generally what you do, you go with 8 mm, 10 mm or 12 mm. So I had written based on that, I had written 10 mm bar. So I can write adopting 10 mm diameter bar as main reinforcement. So here I have written main reinforcement because I'll be providing 10 mm dia bar for this 333 millimeter square steel, which you have computed based upon the factored moment of 14.2. So adopting 10 mm diameter bar as main reinforcement, let me write down in short, reinforcement. So what will be the spacing? Spacing will be what? I have given this formula, 1000 divided by AST into pi by 4 into the diameter of the bar which you are providing, 10 square. So I know AST is how much? 333 millimeter square. So this is the steel which I am providing. So if I substitute here 333, you'll get the spacing as 235.8 millimeter. Now this spacing has to be what? Less than a minimum of 3D comma 300, and which is 235.8 is less than 300 mm. So I'll write here, provide 10 mm dia bar as main reinforcement at, rather than going with 235.8, let us provide at a spacing of 225 millimeter center to center. You can go with this also, 230 mm center to center. There is no harm. So, but here I have written 225 millimeter center to center. Okay, so you can go with 230. You should not exceed this, because if you're exceeding it, then this AST will not come. 333 millimeter square is not going to come. You need to make sure whatever steel you provide, it is more than the steel which you have computed for resisting this 14.2 kN movement. So you have seen that you have computed the spacing of this main reinforcement bar. Now what we'll do, we'll be doing the shear check. Okay, the sixth step is shear check, and there will be deflection check also, and then we'll be providing distribution bars. Do this computation, you will get this tau v value as 0.145 Newton per millimeter square. Okay, tau v. As we know, when the shear check criteria will be satisfied, if you remember, if tau v is less than tau dash c, and what is this tau dash c? We know this tau dash c, since I have solid slab, it will be k into tau c. We had discussed what will be the shear strength of the concrete for solid slab. So I have written tau dash c, it will be k into tau c. So I need to satisfy this criteria. If tau v is less than tau c, shear check criteria will be satisfied. Shear check criteria will be satisfied. So let us do that. We have already computed tau v. Let us compute tau dash c. So tau dash c is equal to k into tau c. Let me show you how you are going to get the value of k. It is there in clause number 40.2.1.1 here. Written for solid slab, the design shear strength for concrete shall be tau c into k. So the k value, so the slab thickness which we have here, you see, overall depth of slab, I have slab thickness of 150 mm. So it's written 150 or less. K value will be how much? It will be 1.3. So from clause number 40.2.1.1, from clause 40.2.1.1, you get a k value equal to 1.3. What about tau c? So this tau c you are going to get from table number 19, and it is based upon percentage tension reinforcement. So what we'll do, we will compute the percentage tension reinforcement. Okay, so how you will do? We are going to actually provide 10 mm dia bars at 225 millimeter center to center. Okay, so this is your provided steel, and required steel is how much? It is 333 millimeter square. This is basically AST required, and you are actually providing 10 mm dia at 225 mm center to center. So provided steel is more than required. So based upon whatever steel you provide, that steel you have to consider when you consider percentage tension reinforcement. So percentage tension reinforcement will be based on your steel provided, 100 into AST, whatever you have provided, divided by B into D. So what is AST provided? How are you going to compute AST provided? So AST provided will be computed in this fashion. Please see, AST provided will be what? In 1 meter strip, what is the spacing of the bar? The spacing of the bar is 225 millimeter center to center. So this is going to be the number of bars. Number of bars into 5 by 4 into 10 square. So this is your steel. Okay. Required steel was 333 millimeter square, which we did the calculation here. AST required. But what we did based on this required steel, I said I'll be providing 10 mm dia, and I computed S. It was 235.8 millimeter center to center. But rather than going with 235.8 millimeter center to center, I'm saying let us provide 10 mm dia bars at as main reinforcement at 225 millimeter center to center. So obviously, provided steel will be more compared to the required steel. So that's why I'm computed AST provided, which is 1000 divided by 225. This will give you the number of bars in 1 meter strip into 4 into 10 square. Okay, so this is your AST provided. So if I substitute this value over here and I compute percentage tension reinforcement, this comes out as you substitute this value here, B will be 1000 and D will be your 125. Okay, so if you do this, you'll get this percentage tension reinforcement as 0.279. Okay, so what we'll do for computing tau C, we have to refer to table number 19, design shear strength of the concrete. So this 0.279 value is actually lying between 0.25 and 0.5. Okay, it is lying between 0.25 and 0.5. So you have to do the linear interpolation between 0.36 and 0.40 because the grade of concrete is M20. So after doing linear interpolation, you'll get tau C from table number 19, from table 19 of IS 456 2000. You get this tau C value, so you can also check. You get this tau C value equal to, it will be 0.375 Newton per millimeter square. So what will be tau dash C, the shear strength of concrete for slab? It will be K 1.3 into 0.375. And once you do this, you will be getting the value as 0.487 Newton per millimeter square. So you can see that your tau V is actually 0.145. So since this condition is getting satisfied, since tau V is less than tau dash C, shear check criteria is what? Means it is safe in a shear for the slab. So I can write, since tau V is less than tau C, and also tau V is less than your tau C max also. Okay, it is less than tau C max. Tau C max I can show. It is here. Here it is. The value of tau C max is given as 2.8. So it is like tau V is very less. So it's obvious I have not written that, but I was knowing tau V is less than tau C max. Since both condition is satisfied, you will say that slab is safe in. So shear check is satisfied. It means that the provided depth is adequate for resisting shear. If this condition was not satisfied, it meant that you have to revise the thickness of the slab. So if you revise the thickness of the slab, so you have to start again with step number 2. Okay. So again, you have to start with step number 2 when you compute design factor moment, because this dead load will change if your thickness of slab changes. So you have to remember. So once you do all the calculation, you have to go with the shear check. So in the shear check, once this condition is satisfied, it means the provided depth is adequate to resist shear. Now the next step, step 7. So again, the 7th step is to make sure the provided depth is adequate. So this is actually check for deflection control. So I know check for deflection control will be satisfied, because when I made a trial depth, I had given this logic. Based on that logic, actually, I had provided this overall depth. But I'm going to have a check for same. So how you do this check for deflection control? Again, some kind of very simplified approach. What code has suggested that that we'll be following. So the code suggests that L by D provided should be what? Less than equal to, and I'll be writing L by D required. And basically this L by D required is nothing but, if you remember, it is L by D basic into modification factor because of tension reinforcement. KC and KF I'm not writing because it's going to be 1. So let us write first L by D provided. Okay, so since bending is taking place in shorter span, so it will be Lx by D provided. So what was Lx? If you remember, we had computed this effective span here. Lx, it is 3.125 meter. So Lx is 31 25, and D, which has been provided, it is 125 millimeter. So it comes out as how much? 3125 divided by 125. 3125 divided by 125. It comes out as 25. Okay. Provided Lx by D provided is 25. Let us compute L by D required. It is L by D basic, okay, into KT. So I know L by D basic is going to be 20 for simply supported slab. Here KT, modification factor because of tension reinforcement. Now to compute this modification factor because of tension reinforcement, we have to refer to this figure number 4. So here it is, figure number 4. So in order to compute this KT, I need to compute percentage tension reinforcement. So what is the percentage tension reinforcement? We had computed that. If you remember here, we had computed this percentage tension reinforcement. Okay, it is 0.279. AST provided based on provided steel. Percentage tension reinforcement is nearly, you can say 0.3. Okay, it is nearly 0.27. You can say it is 0.3. Right. So we have ρT equal to 0.279. Okay. Now what we have to do? We have to compute Fs. If you see this formula, Fs 0.58 Fy, area of cross section of steel required divided by area of cross section of steel provided. So let us do that. Fs equal to 0.58 into 415 into AST required divided by AST provided. Okay. So I will be substituting the values. It will be 0.58 into 415 into AST required. If you remember, the required steel was how much? It is 333 millimeter square. So it is going to be 333 divided by AST provided. So how much is AST provided? This one. 1000 divided by 225 into pi by 4 into 10 square. So you can do this computation. I'll be writing this as AST provided. And once you compute this, what you'll find, this is nearly equal to 240. Not exactly 240, but I'm writing nearly equal to 240 Newton per millimeter square. Now, what I'll do, I'll go to this. So this is 0.2. So somewhere here, you are going to have 0.3, 0.27. I'm taking this 0.279 as 0.3. So from here, if I draw a vertical, it is 240, right? So nearly it is coming how much? If you see this value, it will be how much? It will be 1.4. Okay, so approximately you can say the modification factor which is coming, it is 1.4 kT. So I can write this value of kT from figure 4 in IS 456 2000. You get kT equal to 1.4. So now what will be your this thing? L by D required. So L by D required will be what? L by D basic, which is 20 into 1.4, which is 28. So we can clearly see this condition is satisfying. Provided is 25, required is 28. So I can write, since L by D provided is less than L by D required, deflection control is satisfactory. Okay. Since this condition is satisfying, we say deflection control is satisfactory. Suppose if this condition was not getting satisfied, if it was greater than L by D required, what could have been the solution? You would have increased the effective depth D, or you have to increase the thickness of the slab. So if you increase the thickness of the slab, again you have to start with step number 2. So that's why, like when I started with my trial thickness, I had taken care of that deflection criteria check, because I know I have to later check for that deflection criteria. And here you see, if you want to have some more economy, you have that flexibility. You have provided 25 L by D, required is 28. So if you want to have one more design, you can start with L by D ratio as 28, and based upon this 28, you can again start the calculation, but make sure you do the shear check as well as the deflection check. So after all these steps, you have got the main steel, and you have uh, checked the thickness of the slab which you are providing. So all those things has been done. My last step will be for distribution. So you know why you are providing this distribution steel or secondary reinforcement. Distribution steel, or you can say the steel as secondary reinforcement. So basically, you provide the secondary reinforcement to take care of secondary stresses, also to take care of the point load, also to take care of thermal and shrinkage stresses which may get developed in this slab. So how you provide distribution steel? So distribution steel is actually minimum steel. Okay, the which you provide, that is equal to your minimum steel. And we had computed this minimum steel. You remember, like when we were computing AST provided, sorry, AST required steel. So we always wanted the required steel to be more than minimum steel. And the minimum steel, how much you got? You had got 180 millimeter square. So since this computation is already done, AST minimum, which is actually 0.12% of the cross section area. So based on that, you had got AST minimum as 180 millimeter square. So if I'll just recollect it, it is 0.12% of overall cross section area. 1000 into D is 150. So based on that, you have got minimum steel. So what we'll be doing, you will be providing, let us provide, because the steel is very less. So selecting 8 mm bars as secondary reinforcement or distribution bars. So you please see, I have provided 10 mm dia bar as my main reinforcement and 8 mm dia bar as my distribution bar. I can compute the spacing. So what will be your spacing? Spacing will be how you had done it. It was 1000 divided by AST. AST is 80, 180 into 5 by 4 into 8 square. So if you do this computation, how much you will be getting? 279.1 millimeter, and this spacing should be less than or equal to maximum spacing for distribution bar. So what is the maximum spacing for the distribution bar? It should be minimum of, you remember, it is 5D, 450. So I can clearly see this spacing is less than 5D and 450. So I'll write provide 8 mm bars at, it is 279.1. So let us go with 275 millimeter center to center. So this 8 mm bar providing at 275 millimeter center to center is distribution bar. So we have done all the calculation. Now thing is how to draw the reinforcement detail such that that detailed drawing can be given at the site, and the engineer who is there for the execution will be able to understand how to place those reinforcement. Okay, so let us draw the detailed drawing first. So here you see, you had a hall. The hall dimension was what? 3 meter into 9 meter. Let me draw the sketch. So it is like this. Okay, so this dimension is what? 3 meter, and this dimension is actually 9 meter. So it is clear distance, or you can say the internal distance. So here you see what I'll be doing. Here you have the wall. So these walls I'll be drawing in the dotted line. Here you have the wall. Okay, so this dimension is 3 meter and this dimension is 9 meter, and whatever this true line you are seeing, it is actually wall which is supporting the slab. First, how you're going to place the main reinforcement. Okay, so basically what you'll be doing, you will be providing because you are going to have maximum span moment at the center, because the slab is going to bend about what shorter span. So I know my main reinforcement will be in this direction. So how the reinforcement arrangement I'll be doing? So here you please observe. I was talking about there can be partially fixity at the support. Now how to take care of those partial fixity? So one bar I will go like this here. This bar, I'll bend this bar. I'll provide a straight bar like this. Okay. In the next bar, now the next bar will come at what spacing? So this is 10 mm bar. So the next bar will be coming at what spacing? It will be coming at, and written here, 225 millimeters center to center. So the next bar has to be 225 millimeters center to center. So I'll be providing a bar like this, bend it, provide straight bar. So here you please observe what I'm doing. Then again next bar. Next bar again I'll be doing what? I'll be providing this, cranking it means here you see this bar whichever is being provided. It means that this is provided in the top fiber and it's been cranked, and this is been provided in the bottom fiber. When I draw this section, it will become clear. So what you are doing here, you see you are providing from here to here this distance is 225. From here to here this distance is 225. And how you'll be providing? You'll be providing from this distance from here. Let me take another line. From here till here, you'll be providing. This bar you'll be providing the spacing of 225 millimeters center to center. So I can mark like this. So it means that these bars are going to be provided from here till here. And what is this bar? You can mark 10 mm at 225 millimeter center to center. Okay. So this is your main reinforcement. What about secondary reinforcement? Secondary reinforcement you are going to provide the bottom side. Okay. So please see how it will be done. We're providing like this. So this is your secondary reinforcement. Now again the next secondary reinforcement will be at what spacing? We'll be providing one more secondary reinforcement. Okay, so at what spacing you will be providing this secondary reinforcement? So I had said that we'll be providing secondary reinforcement at 275 millimeter center to center. So this reinforcement actually what you are doing, you are providing from this distance till this distance. Okay, so this bar you are actually providing 8 mm dia at 275 millimeter center to center. Okay, so this reinforcing bar is going to span from here till here. Okay. Apart from there, that please see this bar which you see over here. This has been cranked at the top, at the tension side. And you remember when we discussed about secondary reinforcement, you place secondary reinforcement in the tension side also. So here I'll be drawing a dotted line. Use other color, blue color itself. So here also you will be having this reinforcement bar that will be providing on the top fiber. So this dotted line which I have made, it means this is also a reinforcing bar provided at the top portion where you have cracked, and this is also what your 8 mm dia at 275 millimeter center to center. So this is the arrangement, and this arrangement can also be given in one more manner. You cut this section. So I have to provide more details. So that detail can be given by cutting the section. So if I cut this section, how the section will look like? You have this slab, so I'm making a little bit thick, and you have this wall. So this is your slab. And so in this slab, you can give this detail how much thick it is. Because in cross section, you can mention this slab is actually how much thick? It is 150 mm thick. Next, this is the shorter span. Okay, this distance also you can mention. The span is how much? Meter and the walls. So your main reinforcement. So your main reinforcement is like this. Remember, this is one of the bar. This is what color I have used. Okay, I'll use black color. So this is your main reinforcement. So this was one of the bar like this. The second bar, how you used to place, again the second bar used to go like this. And so on, you will be continuing. So this is the bar, this is the bar. And when I mark it, please see in this section, this bar is at 10 mm dia at 225 millimeter center to center. But when I mark this bar, can you tell me what will be this? This will be 10 mm dia at what spacing? What will be the spacing? Can anyone tell me? It will be double. So it will be 450 millimeter center to center. Because here you see what is happening. If I see the distance between this bar and this cranking portion, this will become double because from here to here it is 225, then it is 225. But if I see if at the center, it is 225, 225. So by marking this, it simply means at the center it is 225. Alternate bars, what you are doing, you are actually cranking it. And why you have cranked it? In order to take care of the partial fixity which may occur. Now, if there is partial fixity, then there can be what? A tension in the top fiber. Okay. So 50% of the tension reinforcement, what you are doing, you are actually providing on the top side. And this is based upon SP34. So this is what you are seeing actually. Now there will be distribution bar. So the distribution bar will be seen in dotted line. Okay. So here you see, you have this distribution bar. So this blue line which I had made, these are my distribution bar. To provide in other direction, and the main thing is again, as I have given the reason. So this bar is what? This bar is actually your 8 mm dia, 275 millimeter center to center. And also you'll be having distribution bar here also. In the cracking portion. So this bar is also your distribution bar, which you provide on the tension side. It is actually how much? It is 8 mm at 275 millimeter center to center. So there is one question still missing. At what point I should crank the bar? So here you see I'm cranking the bar. At what point I should crank the bar? So I'll be taking help of SP34. So let me open SP34. This is a handbook on concrete reinforcement and detailing. So what exactly I'm detailing? I'm trying to detail the slab. So I'll be looking into slabs. So section 9 is about floor slab. So this will give you a guidance regarding how you should actually detail it. If you want, you can read this. There are certain provisions which will be given, and you can see like bar diameter. They have also given you some guidance. If you get some time, you can always read this. Here you see this is the section which I was talking about. Can you see this reinforcement? How you are cranking? You are cranking from the face of the support. Please see here, from the face of the support, this distance is how much? 0.1 L. And this is the shorter span. And this shorter span is becoming your main reinforcement. And this bar which you see here, this bar, let me make a screenshot so that I can make you understand. Because most of the time you'll be knowing how to do the calculation, but placing the reinforcement, which is the most important part, most of the time students are unaware how to place those reinforcement. So here you see this is a one-way slab. Why this is one? Your main reinforcement. So how you are placing your main reinforcement, as I had made, this is one of the bar which is going complete straight, and the other bar on the means on the other side it's going to be cranked. Now how you are going to do the cranking from the face of the support? This distance has to be how much? 0.1 L. And also if you see this section, can you see this one, this part? It is saying 0.5 AST. By 0.5 AST, it means that 50% of the steel has to be bent in the upward side, and this is what we have done. Okay, this is what we have done. So about the shorter span, we will be having this kind of arrangement. Let us talk about this longer span, L1. So here you see I have this distribution bar. Okay, now this distribution bar is being provided from here till here, and this is the dotted line which has been shown. So it's written details of distribution bar along this line. Now, if you see section AA, this section AA, here you can see this is the section AA which has been made. And here also they have given certain guideline, like you can see distribution bars on the bottom, and also distribution bar which has been provided in the top, and it is written distribution bar minimum has to be 2. So minimum 2 bar has to be there as a distribution bar in the top side. If it is more than that, that is fine. So based on this, what has been done, I had made this a diagram, which is satisfying your SP34 criteria. If you have a doubt regarding how exactly I had made this detailed drawing, I can still explain, because understanding this is very important. And I have also shown SP34 based upon SP34 guidance. What I did actually, I had made this detailed. If you have any doubt regarding this making this detailing drawing, please feel free to ask.
So the part where the bars are cranked.
Yes. Okay.
Second.
Okay. Here you see this bar is cranked from the face of the support. This distance you will be taking as 0.1 into this span. You see here 0.1 L. And if you observe, it is center to center. Can you see this L? They've considered center to center, so this will not be 3, it will be 3.23. So as per SP34 guidance, I can see this span is L. So the cranking distance from the face of the support is 0.1 L. So in this section, when I make, I can show this distance. From here till here, this distance from the face of the support till the cranking portion, this distance will be 0.1 L. That L was center to center, so 0.1 into 3.23. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, in the crank section, we have to provide the secondary reinforcement both at the bottom and the top.
Yes, yes, both at the bottom, also at the top.
And sir, while looking at this diagram, it feels like the slab is lying on the walls. Sir, how do we ensure that it won't fall against the lateral loading?
Okay, here you see, it will not fall against lateral loading because, see, I can give you this example. Like suppose if you have a very heavy structure, if there is a wind load, then it is not possible for the wind to uplift the that heavy structure. So it is obvious that because of the self weight of your entire structure, it is not going to have that kind of sliding, which you are actually getting that kind of feeling. Okay, because earlier structures were what? Structures were like this, load bearing structure. And of course, like when you have this kind of arrangement, you will be providing some kind of parapet wall at the end. Okay, generally what you used to do, you have to provide some kind of parapet wall which will be provided at the peripheries. So this is going to induce some kind of partial fixity. So this is not going to slide completely.
Yes.
Is this clear?
सर
Yes, sir.
ये जो सर प्लेसिंग ऑफ बार्स सर फिर से एक बार बता दीजिएगा, ये वाला जो ये फाइनल जो आप ड्राइंग जो कैसे बना है वही.
अच्छा, ये ड्राइंग को एक बार मैं फिर से एक्सप्लेन कर दूं, ठीक है?
दोनों.
Okay, yes, I will tell you that. So here you see, I'll be drawing it, and this time what I will do, I'll draw in part, ठीक है कि ना, तो ताकि उसको अच्छे से समझ जाए. और finally you have to merge it. So I'll be making, let us say this is your slab, which will be supported. This line has to be drawn in a dotted manner. So this is the outer periphery, and this is the wall. Because if I see from the top, I'll not be able to see this wall. So that's why I'll be drawing in a dotted line. I know about the shorter span your slab is going to bend. So your main reinforcement will be provided in this direction. Okay, about shorter span. So you remember when we computed steel, you said your main reinforcement will be provided 10 mm dia at 225 millimeter center to center. So how exactly you provide? What you do? You'll be having, since this 10 mm dia at 225 millimeter center to center is based upon factored movement, which is going to be maximum at the mid span. So that is the requirement when you go with 10 mm dia 225 mm center to center. So what you'll be doing, you'll be providing bar like this. You'll be having a bar, you'll crank it, and this is how you're going to provide. So please see, this straight bar is at the bottom. Here this cranking has been done, and this bar is provided at the top fiber. Okay. Now the next bar, what you will do in the next bar?
Sir,
the
why
next bar will be,
why we didn't place it normally? Why we cranked it?
so we have cranked it, as I said, at support you may have partial fixity. Okay, at support you may have partial fixity because of the parapet wall or because of some wall which you are going to construct. Or maybe at the later stage you may think that
support पे टेंशन नहीं होगा ना?
the support पे टेंशन होगा अगर partial fixity होगी.
नीचे में टेंशन नहीं होगा.
हाँ, नीचे में टेंशन नहीं होगा. ठीक है. देखो यहाँ पर जैसे अभी मैं एक सेक्शन बना रहा हूँ, ठीक है, जैसे कि ये स्लैब है, मान लो दिस इज अ सेक्शन, यहाँ पर नीचे में वॉल है, ठीक है. अब इसके ऊपर तुमने एक पैरापेट वॉल बना दिया, तो ये पैरापेट वॉल क्या करेगा, इसको पार्शियल फिक्स कर देगा, इसको रोटेट करने नहीं देगा, इस स्लैब को रोटेट करने नहीं देगा सपोर्ट में. तो जब इसका तुम ये बनाओगे डिफ्लेक्शन कर्व, तो डिफ्लेक्शन कर्व थोड़ा सा एग्जैगरेटेड में बना रहा हूं, तो इस तरह से कुछ बनेगा. तो यहाँ देखो, यहाँ पर टेंशन है इस पोर्शन में, इस पोर्शन में भी क्या हो रहा है, टेंशन हो रहा है. तो यहाँ पर इसीलिए हम क्या करें, ऑल्टरनेट बार्स को क्रैंक कर दे रहे हैं ताकि इस टेंशन को टेक केयर कर ले. दिस इज व्हाट इट हैज बीन डन एंड इट हैज सजेस्टेड बाय SP34 आल्सो. इज दिस क्लियर? इज दिस क्लियर?
ओके सर.
सो नेक्स्ट में हम क्या करेंगे, अगर तुमने SP34 को पढ़ोगे तो उन्होंने बोला है कि 50% स्टील को तुम क्रैंक करोगे. तो 50% स्टील मतलब इसके बाद इमीडिएटली इसके बाद में क्या होगा, यहाँ पर ये स्ट्रेट हो जाएगा, बट यहाँ पर ये क्या हो जाएगा, क्रैंक हो जाएगा. तो मतलब अभी क्या हो रहा है कि जो क्रैंक पोर्शन है, ये क्रैंक पोर्शन टॉप फाइबर में है. तो यहाँ पर तुम क्या करो, नेक्स्ट बार में तुम नहीं क्रैंकिंग दे रहे हो, टॉप में नहीं दे रहे हो, ठीक है कि नहीं, बट उसके बाद वाला जो बार हो रहा है इसको फिर से क्रैंकिंग कर दे रहे हो इस तरह से. तो तुम देख रहे हो 50% स्टील को तुम क्या कर दे रहे हो, ऊपर की तरफ दे रहे हो, ऑल्टरनेट बार्स को तुम ऊपर में दे रहे हो दोनों साइड में. सो दैट कंडीशन इज एक्चुअली गेटिंग सेटिस्फाइड. और सेंटर में देखो, सेंटर में ये जो डिस्टेंस है दैट इज आल्सो गेटिंग सेटिस्फाइड. यहाँ पर कितना स्पेसिंग है, 225 मिलीमीटर सेंटर टू सेंटर. यहाँ क्रैंकिंग में कितना है, जस्ट डबल हो जा रहा है. इसका मतलब 50% स्टील व्हाट यू हैव डन, यू हैव एक्चुअली प्रोवाइडेड crank or provided at the support. I hope this is clear till here.
ओके सर.
I hope
50% इस साइड और 50% ऊपर में.
हाँ ऊपर में, ठीक है कि नहीं. तो लेकिन सेंटर में तुम्हारा पूरा कंप्लीट AST है, उतना AST चाहिए उस मोमेंट को रेजिस्ट करने के लिए. तो इसमें मैंने कोई टच नहीं किया है, बट ओनली थिंग इज आई एम क्रैंकिंग एट दी टॉप ऑल्टरनेट बार्स. ऑल्टरनेट बार्स को क्रैंक करने से मेरे पास 50% AST आ जा रहा है, जो SP34 का कोड रिक्वायरमेंट को सेटिस्फाई कर जा रहा है. ठीक है. तो अभी जब मैं डिटेल ड्राइंग बनाऊंगा तो मुझे पता है कि ऑल्टरनेटली ऐसे प्रोवाइड करने वाला है. तो अभी मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ, 10 बार हाउ एक्चुअली इट विल बी प्लेस्ड. इट विल बी प्लेस्ड फ्रॉम हियर टिल हियर. यहां से यहां तक इस बार्स का अरेंजमेंट होगा. तो इसको मैं इस तरह से कर सकता हूं, ठीक है कि नहीं. यहाँ पर मार्क कर दिया, यहाँ पर मार्क कर दिया, ठीक है कि नहीं. तो इन दोनों को जब मैं मार्क कर दूंगा, आई कैन राइट 10 mm डाया एट 225 मिलीमीटर सेंटर टू सेंटर. मतलब इस तरह का बार जो ऑल्टरनेट बार होगा एट 225 मिलीमीटर सेंटर टू सेंटर, मैं यहाँ से यहाँ तक प्रोवाइड कर दूंगा. इज दिस क्लियर नाउ? So this is my main reinforcement. Now let us come to secondary reinforcement. Now for secondary reinforcement, so यहीं पर मैं बना देता हूँ secondary reinforcement. So you forget about this black line, you focus on this blue line. So this blue line will be my secondary reinforcement. So how you are going to provide your secondary reinforcement? You will be providing secondary reinforcement in the other direction, about the longer span, to the shorter span. You will be providing like this. So this is the secondary reinforcement which will be providing. Okay, so what you will be doing, you will be providing your secondary reinforcement from here till here. Agree or not? इस बार को तुम फिर से एक लाइन यहाँ पर बनाओगे, फिर यहाँ पर बनाओगे. Rather than making those lines, you make single line. You say that this bar is going to actually extend from here till here, and mark this dot. It means that the straight bar is going to extend from here till here. And at this dot, you say this is your 8 mm dia at 2 millimeter center to center. Okay, so this is provided at the bottom. But apart from this, you'll be providing one more distribution bar at the top. Okay, so if you're providing at the top, it means that I have to show by dotted line. Just for
अब
indicative
सर ये
purpose.
टॉप में क्यों दिए ये सर क्यों किए हम लोग
नहीं,
मतलब किस फोर्स को
देखो
काउंटर
ये
करने के
डिस्कशन
लिए
हम लोगों ने किया था एक क्लास में, याद करते हो, जो सेकेंडरी स्ट्रेसेस जो आते हैं, जो मैंने गूगल स्केचअप में एक ड्राइंग बनाया था मैंने, तो उस
उसमें भी
सेकेंडरी,
तो सर जहाँ पे टेंशन डेवलप हो रहा था, ओह यस
वहां,
सर, ओके
हाँ यहाँ पे ऊपर में हो रहा है ना टेंशन, इसलिए तुमने
ओके
क्रैंक,
सर,
तो इसीलिए मैं यहाँ पर ये बात दूंगा. So this is the logic. That's why I said if that concept is very much clear, then this kind of detailed drawing ऐसे बनाना है, it becomes very much clear to you. इसीलिए मैं टेंशन साइड में ये सेकेंडरी रिइंफोर्समेंट को दे रहा हूँ. So I hope this is clear to you now. I'll be making this dotted line just for indicative purpose. Though if you do not make it, it is not a problem. But when you draw the section, it should be made. So like this. Or 10 mm dia at 225 millimeter center to center, and in bracket minimum 2. You please write down, because this distance from here to here, this distance will be how much? This distance, this crank portion. So this crank portion will be 0.1 into 3.23 meter. It will be 0.1 into 3.23 millimeter. Sorry, 0.1 into 3.23 meter, not millimeter. So I hope this is clear. Now, if you want to have this detail, what you do, you cut a section like this. If you cut this section like this is going to be your slab. Okay, and this is your wall. This is your wall. So this is your main reinforcement, black line. So let me draw this main reinforcement. It is like this. So this was one of the bar. And how you are placing another bar, it is like this. It's going like this. And you are repeating like this. Again, next bar will be in this manner. Next bar will be like this. So if I mark here in center, so this will become what? 10 mm dia at 225 millimeter center to center. But here, if in the top, if I mark, it will become, again, this is 10 mm dia, but at what spacing? It will become double, 450 millimeter center to center. So this is your main reinforcement which you have provided along shorter span, and this distance you can mark. So this distance is actually 3000 millimeter. Thickness of slab you can mark, it is 150 mm. So if you give this kind of detailed drawing at this side, it becomes very much clear to any of the engineer to understand how the detailed drawing has been provided, because even he will be he must have also studied civil engineering, and even you have also studied civil engineering. So you are actually communicating your design in the form of a drawing. So this drawing becomes very important, how exactly you have done the detailing. So in this section also, what you give this cranking distance. So you mentioned this 0.1 into, so this becomes 323, and let us say you provide this as 320 millimeter. Okay, so if you are having 320 millimeter, minimum 2 bars has to be there. Let us provide distribution bar, and the top will be having distribution bar like this. Here also you will be having distribution bar, and the bottom also will be having distribution bar. So this distribution bar you can mark. This is 8 mm at 275 millimeter center to center. So this completes the detailing of the slab by referring to the design which you have done. So ultimately you have to make this kind of detailed drawing after performing those calculations. I hope this is clear, and you please spend some of your time looking into this drawing also to understand how exactly this has been done. Is this clear to everyone?